This is Morten from INKISH TV, second day here at Printing United in Atlanta. And wonderful show, I must admit. And it's always good to meet new friends, even though they have changed positions since the last time I met them in person. Mike?
Yeah. Morten, good to see you. How are you?
I'm good, a little bit exhausted, and we still have like 1.5 days to be back.
Go.
But you have, are you exhausted or how are you?
Yeah, holding up pretty good. You know, it's exciting to be back at Printing United here in Atlanta in 2023, and it's been a great show for us. I think we've been pleasantly surprised with the traffic and the interest in the solutions and what we have here. So we're really excited for that.
And we are definitely going to talk about that. But Mike, the last time I interviewed you, you were working for Ricoh, right?
Right.
And now you're working for EMT, and honestly, I knew about EMT, but not in details, and you just made a very brief walkthrough of your technology.
Right.
It seems that with your knowledge about the digital transformation that a lot of printers are looking into these days, EMT is not the worst place to work for, right?
No, it's a great transition for me. Absolutely, you're right, Morten. So the last time we did talk, I was with Ricoh, and 23 wonderful years with Ricoh, particularly the last 15, which was helping to drive that production inkjet business globally for Ricoh. And as I talked to customers around the world about those solutions in that process, made a great relationships with a lot of the other inkjet manufacturers as well too. And the consistent sort of customer questions and feedback was really about, you know, our challenges are really on the back end of the production printing process. And that got me thinking, maybe there's another way that I can help the customers, help the other inkjet providers, help our partners in a different way in the same industry, and that's sort of found my way to EMT International to help do that, to help solve those challenges on the back end of the production process.
On a more like personal note, I was just wondering how different is it working for a purely American company versus being in a Japanese company?
Yeah, there's kind of two levels to that, really. There's the change from a company that was based in Japan, a very large organization, to one that is manufacturing all of the products right there in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and a much smaller organization, quite frankly. And that was, to me, actually part of the intrigue and part of the discussion as making the change is going to a smaller organization and having the ability to really impact and drive the business. And I can tell you, the pace of the company is quite fast. You know, it's something I've got to get used to because the executive team, which we're growing and putting together right now, really comes together, makes decisions, and we moved right away, which to me is very, very exciting, and I have a lot of influence over that as the Executive Vice President of Marketing and Sales.
Yeah, I was just about to say that with the experience you have from Ricoh and also the industry for many years, I mean, you probably have many good ideas so they sometimes maybe think that you're an R&D person or an engineer interfering with them, right?
Yeah. So, well, it's nice to bring that. You know, I spent so many years, as you know, because we've met all over the world, visiting with customers, going to shows, and I've been able to collect so much information from them, and really to be able to bring that here to the EMT team and share it in terms of what I see happening in the market and where it's going. It really is allowing us to start looking into the future. The plan really is to grow this organization in a very, you know, sort of practical, methodical kind of way over the coming years. In order to do that, we've got to be really close to the market, understand what those requirements are for customers, and that's really what the discussions are we're having right now is where are things today, where do we think they're going, and how do we bring those solutions to market to meet those needs.
As we spoke about before, the digital transformation, I mean, it's a kind of, maybe a little bit of a saturated expression over time because it means so many different things.
Yeah.
But I mean, literally for printers, is like the most obvious thing is going from, let's say, analog production methods into digital production methods. I mean, now you're not working for, let's say, a print vendor anymore. If you look at the timing, is the time now where you consider really seriously of not getting your next offset machine and go digital, or is it still more like a complementary technology?
Yeah, I think there's going to continue to be a complementary nature in terms of the technologies that have been out there for a while and what's coming out anew. And so you sort of see this, as everybody's aware, kind of the steady decline in overall pages around the world, and what that's sort of enabling the digital platforms, both from a print perspective and a finishing perspective, to start growing and moving some of those pages. But my personal belief is that transition is still somewhat slow, and which is fine, right? It allows customers, you know, companies that are in the print business to sort of make those changes as they need to make them, adopt new technologies as they need to adopt, without instantly forcing those things to happen, which is good because then allows, you know, everybody to sort of adopt this or adapt this ecosystem in a way that meets customer requirements so that print could continue to be super valuable in the marketplace and really a great communication medium. So I think it's happening at a good pace where we can grow and have great success in this marketplace.
You then, almost anybody else I know of, know how much digital print has improved over the just last 5-10 years, basically. I was just wondering, do you think that the finishing side have followed along?
Yeah, that's a great question, and that was part of why I made the change as well too. I felt after 15 years of really working to develop inkjet, working with the market, working with partners, working with customers, that if you look at that sort of curve of innovation was really starting to peak, meaning the quality is so good, more substrates that we could run, the color gamuts, the ability to move all these applications. Technically, I felt that we had solved a lot of those challenges, and again, customers were continuing to say, every customer I talked to said, yeah, we love the quality, love the capability of inkjet, but we're really challenged with, from a labor perspective, from an efficiency perspective, from the number of applications that we support. How do we do that?
Even for the business models, right?
Because yeah.
I mean, because conventionally, where you have salespeople chasing one order, it doesn't work in a product of one world, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and you are spot on, because as we solve those technical challenges, then the immediate things that happen is, what does the business model look like for all this, and how are we helping the marketplace or our customers deliver that value and that business model to their end company? And I think that still remains in the industry one of the things that we really have to look at.
Here on your booth here at Printing United, you obviously show some of your technology, and one of the things I just see here behind you is a roll-based finishing. Is that where you're focusing?
Yeah, we are really focused on that web-fed or roll-fed space.
But I was just wondering also, because both from your past in Ricoh, but also if you look at Kyocera, you look at Screen, you look at practically everybody right now is also entering into the, let's say, the cut sheet space. What consideration do you have about that?
Oh yeah, we will absolutely look at that. Again, the goal here is to really get that holistic view of the marketplace and figure out where do we need to focus on to grow. And I certainly think that sheet-fed solutions could be part of that mix, absolutely, because there is a lot of focus there from a print vendor perspective, a printing technology perspective, and quite frankly, back to the other question you just asked me, there's still a significant amount of printing that's going on in the marketplace that's traditional offset, that's in sheet format. There's a lot of customers.
Yeah, analog doesn't go away any soon. I was more thinking about, let's say that you have a 10-year, 15-year-old offset press and you're considering buying the next one. I think that it's maybe not 100% right now, but it is. I think it's quite certain that at some point in time, people will also, even with the current technology, consider digital worse an offset machine, right? And it's not just because of the mega trends, but also because the convenience of fastest turnaround time, less operator dependency, maybe more new applications when it comes to like personal data and things like that. When you look at the EMT technology, I mean, you showed me the poster with all the different technologies. If you want to grow into the market and become bigger, is it bringing the existing product to market, or is it a combination of also developing entirely new technologies?
Yeah, it's a mix, I would say. Obviously we've got a very, very robust portfolio, but we're continuing to invest in new technologies and new capabilities. And again, a key part of what we're doing here is raising the awareness of the brand. And as you said, you weren't completely familiar with who EMT International is, and that's part of what I'm going to do with this organization, is sort of elevate the awareness of who we are, what we're currently able to do.
And you have some experience with that already.
I have a little bit of experience doing that already, and then as part of that, as we're having those conversations with customers and explaining who we are, what we do, what the value of this organization is, and what we can bring to them, we have to listen at the same time in order to understand, is everything we have today what we need, or do we need to invest and create new capabilities going into the future? And of course, the answer to that is going to be yes. Yeah.
Do you sell through agents and distributors, or how do people buy your stuff?
Yeah, so we do a mix of that. Obviously for the digital finishing today, outside of the roto control business, which is we do in Europe as well too, for the labels finishing. For the digital finishing, which is mostly in the U.S., we do a mix of direct sales force, but then obviously we're partnering with the Ricos, the Canons, the HPs, the Screens, the Xerox of the world.
How does it feel to say those names now?
It's actually fine. It really is, Morten. I know it's difficult. 23 years with Rico, but I always held those other companies in high regard.
I know. I was just joking.
Yeah, very good organizations, and the good news, because I did have great relationships, that's really gone seamless in terms of my shifting gears here and starting to partner with them, obviously more directly.
But you know, and I don't know if you agree, but I think you do. Is like one of the things I think is so wonderful this industry is that you can be. I mean, you can meet people in the toughest competitive situation, but you can still sit and have a beer with them, right? And that is like one of the things I really enjoy with this industry, because I mean, I think it's also because we are all also interested in technology and what is coming next, right? So we have to have an open mind to anything, right?
Absolutely.
Mike, I wish you the very best, and maybe I see you before, but otherwise I might see you next Printing United anyway, or Drupa maybe.
Drupa. Yes, we'll see you at Drupa.
Fantastic.
Absolutely. Great. Thank you, Morten. Appreciate the time. Great seeing you.
Great seeing you too.